Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the latest episode of What We Do in the Shadows, The Orgy. And this was a pretty decent episode. They mainly centered around the orgy storyline that was going on, but we got a kind of side thing going on with Guillermo and kind of his thoughts about what's been going on recently and everything that's kind of happening with the orgy. So we get into the nuts and bolts of it. Evidently, they do a biannual orgy for the vampires. They get into like how it usually goes down, how they at one point tried to do it triannually, but Laz was like, fuck that shit. I need like at least 6 months to recover so that I'm ready for the next one. And they're just figuring out the nuts and bolts and all the stuff that they need, bringing up the fact that there was like a 1937 one that was horrible and it was fucking Mike's fault, and that if you throw a bad orgy, usually you see vampires just in bat shame form, which just pop up again at the end of the episode. So while they're doing this, they are like constantly ordering around Guillermo to do all these things. Laszlo calling him a fucknut at one point, and I'm like, okay, inventive use of the word, there you go. And Guillermo is just really not having it because he's not their familiar. And Nandor comes in and tries to kind of hammer things out, make sure everything's going okay, and he goes and he pretends to listen to Guillermo talk about his feelings and all that, and we get an interspersed of like, yeah, if somebody's kind of like annoying me or acting stupid, I either kill them or pretend to listen to them. Which, I love the balancing act of what they're doing with Nandor. We are seeing some character growth, but he still is set in his ways of like that leader from long ago when he was like a bloodthirsty conquering warlord, and he doesn't understand that he only has Guillermo's loyalty, and even that is fraying. So I'll have to see how that kind of works out. But we see that the other kind of storyline we get in is that Laszlo pretty much shows his pornos to Nadja, that giving us a brief history lesson of like how cinema came into being, and then like almost no time afterwards they were making porn, and he shows all this stuff to Nadja, and he thinks he's showing his sexual prowess and all that kind of stuff, and Nadja's like, it's boring, and Laszlo is distraught over this, shutting himself in his room. We cut to him talking about it and saying that, did she not follow the plot? And I'm like, it's a porno, dude. I'm a dude that talks about plot and characters, but the objective of a porno is to be erotic and titillating and exciting. And Najo wasn't getting any of that. And they're not really known for plot. I mean, if there are extenuating circumstances of how you're watching the porno, you're usually making fun of the plot, not watching it for the plot. If you do have a porno that's got a plot that you're more interested in than the porno aspect, then I think it's fundamentally failed at being a porno. Interesting that I would watch an episode like this and meditate on the merits of porno. That's what you get. So he's distraught about that, and Nadja's just going on, carrying on with trying to get all of the preparations for the orgy together. We see that Guillermo has been tasked with finding virgins for the feast, and the thing is, he goes through and he's like, I'm really starting to whittle down my pool of virgins. He went to this like one Christian kind of Bible college place, but found out that their definition of being a virgin was different than what he was looking for, and that the CrossFit ones definitely work because all they ever talk about is CrossFit. I kind of like that little thing. So Nandor has decided to help him in looking at all that. So they go out and they're also getting decorations, seeing him react to kind of like Christmas decorations, spooky stuff. Him asking Guillermo if he would be excited about this mask or not, trying to figure out if there were like jade butt eggs in the place, and even the associate being like, okay, it's kind of weird enough that we could have something like that. Guillermo trying to covertly ask if thicker liquids could be put through the chocolate fountain because the vampires wanted a blood fountain. Yeah. And then this actually comes into effect in that we see that Guillermo runs into one of his friends that he's played Fortnite with, and his friend's like, oh, we haven't played with you in a while. It's okay, you can tell me if you changed your gamer tag. I was like, ah, shit. Like, it was pretty natural gamer kind of friend talking that was going on, and Guillermo was trying to send him every goddamn signal in the book to be like, say you have a girlfriend and walk the fuck out. Because Nandor's like, virgin, definitely gotta be a virgin right there. And the dude is just thick as all hell and isn't able to comprehend what's going on, and eventually gets a nosebleed because that's one of his conditions. And Nandor drinks it up, is like, oh, that's like the most virginal blood I've ever tasted. He's like, oh yeah. And Guillermo's just like, God damn it. So we start converging on what's going on. Most of the prep's been done. Even Colin's getting in on it. He shows us the preparations for his room. We see that they also have a gimp dude named Constantine that's popped up. He actually does become important later. I am glad that they utilize most of the things that they put in the show for their comedic purposes. So, Naj is pretty much the head of it going on, greeting everybody. We see all these different kind of people come in. It's pretty cool. Laszlo has decided to lock himself in his coffin because he ain't coming out, and he has lost his appetite for the orgy. And we see that, of course, Guillermo has decided to invite his friend into it. And, yeah, they're like, all right, we got the virgin. But Guillermo is having... I love his character because of all this stuff that they explore with him, because he's done it and he was about to say that, like, yeah, I've helped out my vampire friends with Sakra, and he's like, I'm sacrificing these people. And then he's freaking out like, I just killed my friend. And him coming to terms with that and freaking out and be like, no, I've got to save my friend, was really cool because it gave him more agency. And seeing him go throughout these episodes and becoming more and more of a character instead of just always following Nandor's kind of wishes is really kind of cool. So things kind of converge at once. We see that Colin is dressed up in like one fucking weird ass outfit that is just essentially just a codpiece and straps and shit, pretty much boring the shit out of people. Laszlo's talking about how he's showed like his centuries worth of porno to his wife, but he's like, all right, let's just have our own orgy, just for two, up in our bedroom. And he is trying to kind of connect with Nadja, but Nadja's not having any of that shit because he's messing up her shit right now. Of course, this starts getting people to try and want to leave, but she's like, wait, we've got the virgin. And they open up the curtain and we see that he had been talking about trying to get a girlfriend, but we see that Guillermo's friend is fucking the gimp dude that they had gotten for the party, Constantine. And Guillermo pops up and is like, oh shit. And his friend's like, great party, dude. And he's like, you're not a virgin anymore. So I was like, oh shit, I didn't have to do anything. And his look's just like, this is fucking weird. I'm like, that's a situation, and then everybody's left because they don't have the virgin anymore. That's like one of the big parts of this whole orgy thing. We had also seen Nandor come out in his outfit, and it was just like, holy shit. So it ends up, we see pretty much the gimp, Guillermo's friend, and Colin kind of playing their own apples to apples game. Guillermo is trying to take off the plastic from all the couch and accidentally spill blood on it, because that was just fucking funny. He's finally ripped a hole in it, and he accidentally spills the blood fountain into it. It's like, god damn it, this was supposed to stop messes, and in the effort of trying to remove the plastic, I made a mess on it. And Nandor's trying to find out what's going on with Nadja and Laszlo, and they're having Shane bat sex in their room. And just Nandor's expression, and just he like, goes, closes the door, and just looks and smiles at the camera and kind of chuckles. It's just a perfect way to cap out this episode. And I can't wait to see what they do in the season finale. I love how everything kind of rolls and we see development, and they just are able to really hammer home on the situations on jokes. We got a little bit of escalation, but nothing on the level of that baby one that we had in the trial. And I just hope that they can keep this up because the writing has been great. The characters are interesting and do interesting things and say interesting things and just kind of go crazy. It's just a great premise that they are executing on perfectly, and I can't wait to see how they end out this season, and I can't wait since they renewed it for a second season. So those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.